let's stitch my absolute favorites, little pieces of fruit, because they just look so cute, and you're going to really enjoy this tutorial. Now, if you've got the Pixie&Me kit, you'll have all the little stencils that'll make this whole process so much easier and so much neater. You can, of course, skip forward and take yourself to the piece of fruit that you're wanting to learn. We're going to start here with the lemon. So, of course, we're going to draw our beautiful circle with our stencil, and inside it, we're just going to put a couple of markings here like this. This is going to be the little white part of our lemon. And then once we've done all of that, we're then going to thread onto our needle your color choice. Now you can, of course, not do a lemon. You could do this in green and make it into a lime slice. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to do a lemon here, so we're just going to pop onto our needle approximately 1 meter to 1.5 meters of the yellow yarn. Now there's no need for any fancy knots. We just need to do a little tail at the end here, and we're just going to bring our needle up from our starting point. So we're going to start with the outer circle here, and we're going to be doing a chain stitch. So leave a small tail underneath, and to do a chain stitch, we're just going to take our needle back down through the hole that we just came up from, and we're going to leave a gap of about 0.5 centimeter. We're going to wrap our yarn around our needle and pull through, and this will create our very first chain. So once we've done this very first chain, we're then going to take our needle back down through that chain that we just made, and we're going to bring our needle up again approximately 0.5 centimeter away, following our fabric markings in that circular motion, and we're just going to pull our yarn through again. And this is pretty much a chain stitch. So we're going to do that process again. We're going to take our needle through that chain that we just created, up about 0.5 centimeter, wrap our yarn around our needle and pull through. We're just going to show you one more time. So bringing our needle through our chain and pulling it through again. And we're just going to continue like this all the way around until we come to our very last stitch. And then once we go all the way around our circle, we're just going to take our needle through that first chain, and we're just going to tuck it down into that last chain. And this way, when we finish, we can see our circle looks absolutely flawless. Now we've got 2 tails here. When we flip our garment over, we're just going to tie them together in a triple knot and snip away any excess threads. Now for the center part, we're just going to put about 1 meter of the white yarn onto our needle, leaving a tail underneath. And we're just going to do a little bit of a straight stitch here. We're going to take our needle into the center, and we're just going to fill all those little legs with a straight stitch. And now when we turn our garment over, we need these 2 tails to be together. So to achieve that, we just need to thread our needle through our work again. And once these 2 tails are now nicely together, we can snip away any excess, tie them together in a triple knot, and you're good to go. Next, we're going to thread on approximately 1 meter of the yellow yarn, and we're just going to do a lazy daisy stitch here for the segments inside this lemon, and we probably should fit around about 2 into each little quarter here. So we're just going to pull that through, and then we just need to anchor that down with a stitch. So we just go over the top of our little loop and pull all that yarn all the way through. And we're just going to repeat this process next to it. And we're just going to continue like this all the way around, filling all of those little segments of the lemon. And now that we've come to the final stitch, we can flip our garment over, and you'll see now we've got two tails here that need to be together. So we're just going to thread our needle through our work so that they're now together, and we're going to tie together in a triple knot. And next we're just going to put approximately 1 meter of green yarn onto our needle, and we're just going to do the little bit of greenery for the lemon. So leaving a tail underneath as always, we're just going to do a bit of a V shape here just to see our positioning, make sure that we've got it in the right place. And we're just going to pop another little stitch underneath into like a V shape. And we're just going to bring our needle approximately 1 or 2 millimeters down from that first stitch and just pop it back into that same hole. And we're just going to do this on the right and on the left. And then when we do it again, we're going to come down approximately 1 or 2 millimeters again. And this just gives that beautiful little leafy look. And then we can just repeat this process on the other side. And once again, once we've finished, we're just going to flip our garment over and we're just going to tie off our two tails in a triple knot. So let's have a look at the strawberry. So for the strawberry, I've created a heart template. I don't know why every time I've always stitched a strawberry, I just always start with a love heart. And look, if you don't use this for strawberries, you can use it to create beautiful love hearts too. So it's a win-win, and you could probably use it for multiple things. So we're just going to trace around that stencil, and then we're going to thread onto our needle approximately 1 to 2 meters of the red yarn. And as before, we are going to go in with the chain stitch. So we are going to pretty much chain stitch this whole strawberry, and we're going to do that in rounds. So we're going to go around the outside, then we're going to slowly fill in all the way to the center. And once we've managed to go all the way around, we are going to flip our garment over and tie off the 2 red ends with a triple knot. Now for the greenery, I've doubled my yarn here, and I just like this more fuller look for the strawberries. And we're going to come up through the top center part of the strawberry and all the way until we hit that knot. And we're just going to do a bit of a lazy daisy stitch here. So we're going to go back down the same hole to create that loop. And we're going to start by putting the first one on the right. So we're just going to put our needle where we want it to go, put the loop over that needle and pull through. And then we're just going to anchor that one down with a stitch. And then we're going to bring our needle and do another lazy daisy, but this time onto the strawberry. So we're just going to pull our needle up, take it down the same hole again. And this time I want this part of the greenery to go into the strawberry. So I'm just going to pull my needle to where I want it to go, pop my loop over and pull through. And then we can again anchor that bit down with a stitch. And we're just going to do this 3 or 4 times until we have this beautiful greenery on our strawberry. So let's bring it up again. And then we're going to take it back down the same hole again. And this time I'm going to go into the strawberry again, but more to the left side. And we're just going to pop our loop over, pull it all the way through, and then anchor that one down again with a stitch. And then finally, I'm just going to put one more to the left side of the strawberry. And we'll just make that last loop. And I want it to sit about there. Pop my loop over my needle and pull through. And again, we'll just anchor that one down with a stitch. And then I've got enough greenery on my needle just to make a little more like another stem. So let's bring that to the top. And we're just going to pop that right into the center there. Beautiful. And once we flip our garment over, we've already got that one end already knotted, so we don't need to worry about that. You might need to snip away excess ends. And then the one that's still threaded, we're just going to just do a little knot here. And then we're just going to do a quick thread underneath our work just to keep it nice and secure. And then we can just snip away the excess ends. Now we're just going to put the little seeds onto the strawberry. So for this you can use white yarn. I'm going to be using black just for a bit more contrast. So I'm going to bring my needle up, and it's just going to be a very simple up and over stitch. You can use a French knot here for this, but personally I think the stitch works just as well, and it's a little bit easier as well. So you're just going to place these pretty much anywhere that you want them to go. I like to put one up here near where the little stem is, and just sort of spread them out best I can. So once we've got our last little seed there, we're just going to flip our garment over, and these 2 tails are too far away from each other. So we've still got our threaded needle. We're just going to thread through our work to bring these 2 tails together, and then we'll tie them together again in a triple knot. So next we're going to take a look at the watermelon. Now we have a little stencil that works perfectly for a watermelon slice, and I am going to do this one in pink because I've got that big red strawberry there. I think pink would look really nice. So I'm just going to bold up those lines first, and then I'm going to put onto my needle approximately 1/2 meter of green yarn, which is going to be the outside of the watermelon. So all we're going to do is we're going to do a chain stitch all the way around, and once we've done that chain stitch, we're then going to anchor that down with a stitch. And all we're going to do now is we're going to do the exact same thing, but this time with 1 row in white. So now that we've finished the white row of chain stitching as well, we can then flip our garment over, and you'll see that we've actually got two little tails there. We can tie those together in a triple knot and just snip away any excess ends. So to complete the center part of our watermelon, I'm going to be doing a satin stitch. Now the satin stitch does look very easy, but it's actually quite challenging to do on a knitted jumper. So the way I like to do it is in 2 halves. So we're going to start by working on the right side. Now we're going to bring in our straight or satin stitch here, but I'm going to leave a few gaps in between. And this is just the best way that I find, and the easiest way I find, and to do this because I can fill it back in on the way back through, which you'll see I'll show you in a moment. So we're just going to go all the way to the end, just leaving probably a thread's width amount in between each stitch. And now we're going to make our way back, but on the way back we're going to fill in all the little gaps. And we're just going to repeat this process now on the left side. So now our watermelon is nice and full. We're just going to flip our garment over and we're just going to bring these two tails together. So we might just need to thread underneath our work. And once they're together, we can tie them together in a triple knot. Now to do the little seeds on the watermelon, again, we're just going to put approximately 1/2 meter of black yarn onto our needle. And these little seeds are a little bit bigger than the strawberry ones. So we're just going to do the exact same thing that we did with the strawberry, but you can just make them a little bit longer if you wanted to, or you can keep them as tiny little pip seeds. It's entirely up to you. I like to put around about 4 or 5 onto here. And oh, we're trying to get that through there. And once we have finished doing this, we can then, of course, bring our tails together and tie them together in a triple knot. So let's take a little look at the orange slice. So you already know how to do the outer and the inner row of chain stitching. So all we're going to do is we're just going to fill this middle section with lots of little lazy daisy stitches. Now you could do this in green and make it into a little lime wedge, or you could do it in yellow and do a little lemon wedge. It's entirely up to you. I personally love the little orange. And then of course, once you've finished your last stitch, we're going to bring those two tails together and tie together in a triple knot. Now the grapes I just added on last minute. We do have a tutorial for this, so I will link it. Now if you want to remove your fabric markings, you're just going to spray with some water and dab with a paper towel and then just flat lay to dry. And there you have it. I really hope that you found this tutorial very helpful and you're able to make something adorable for your little darling. Happy stitching, guys.